The stories that we have to tell during a time in music where there were gatekeepers, there were people that owned labels like Puff running things, and the way that the divisions and the divisiveness occurred, and the things that we experienced between each other and us against the system are insane.
Aubrey O'Day has spoken out again about Diddy, and this time she's involving Beyoncé and Jay-Z. She's accusing them of being linked to some of the wild parties that Diddy has thrown. Aubrey has known Diddy for years, going back to when she was on Making the Band. There were even rumors that Diddy had tried to get close to her during that time. So if anyone knows what Diddy is like behind the scenes, it's Aubrey. At one point, people thought she might testify against him, but she later said she wouldn't. Even so, she's been outspoken online, and now she's calling out Beyoncé directly. People have already been talking about Beyoncé possibly protecting Diddy or being involved in some of the things he's been accused of.
It's everything you could imagine why somebody would want to fire somebody. I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me. Not talent-wise, but in other areas. So it's difficult when you're that young to understand your worth as a woman through the men that I was around, and that was very traumatic. I don't think any of us have healed from that. Diddy would be like, you're not hot anymore, like what happened? You don't have anything, like you don't have any curves. You're looking like you're not looking like, I can't get people to think that you're my good looking person. And there was no Me Too at that time. There was no protecting anyone at that time. You signed a million NDAs and a million contracts that took away all your rights. So
now that Aubrey has mentioned her, many are surprised. The whole situation with Diddy keeps getting more tangled. Aubrey has been one of the few people willing to speak openly against him from the beginning. When she was part of the girl group Danity Kane, which was signed under Diddy's label Bad Boy Entertainment, she saw a lot of what went on. Danity. Kane had 5 members: Andrea Fimbres, Dee Woods, Shannon Bex, Don Richard, and Aubrey. At first, they were excited to be signed by someone as famous as Diddy. They thought it would be their big break, but the reality was tough. Diddy didn't treat them well and often embarrassed them in public, even on TV. Aubrey was the only one brave enough to speak out about it. She said Diddy would purposely cause fights between the girls to keep control over them. By breaking their trust and creating tension, he made it easier to manipulate them. Aubrey also shared that he would make hurtful comments about their looks, criticizing their weight or hairstyles. It felt like he didn't see them as real people, but as tools he could use and control. It wasn't just about their music, he wanted to control every part of their lives. Aubrey said he even pushed the group into situations where they felt very uncomfortable. When they refused, he would get angry and behave in harmful ways. A former bodyguard named Gene Deal supported her story, saying he once heard Diddy planning to take the Danity Kane girls to parties to be passed around among his friends. This is a serious and disturbing claim that adds to the list of troubling accusations, as Diddy began facing more legal.
Because I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm going to get off and pick them up and come out to my, he said, I'm going to get them out. I'm going to get them all on, and I'm going to pick them to my, and I was like, there's somebody kids, and walked out. And it's somebody that heard me. It's somebody that heard me. I mean, well, it's not only somebody that heard me, it's somebody that I know who was in the studio at the time that happened, and I still talk to him today. And we were just talking about that the other day. He done moved back to Indiana. I don't know why. I'm gonna give you that one. He said he was gonna them all out and them out.
Problems, especially after Cassie filed a lawsuit against him, he started reaching out to people from his past, including Danity Kane members. He offered to return the publishing rights to their music, rights he had kept for years and earned a lot from. But there was a catch. They had to sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, which meant they couldn't talk about what had happened. Aubrey didn't trust this. She thought something bigger was coming and warned the other group members not to sign. She also pointed out that the rights weren't very valuable anymore, since their music wasn't earning much money. To her, it seemed like Diddy was trying to silence them before more damaging information could come out. Gene Deal confirmed that Danity Kane was the only group that refused to sign the NDA. All the others agreed to it. Aubrey saw through the plan and stood firm, encouraging her group to do the same. You may remember when a video appeared showing Diddy hitting Cassie in a hotel. It spread fast online and was hard to watch. Soon after, Diddy released a video apologizing, but Aubrey wasn't convinced. She called his apology fake and pointed out that just a few months earlier, he had accused Cassie of lying.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people, he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, 2 of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period. You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with the baby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shay. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, you know, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyonce presented herself to him. And she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was and he couldn't believe she was talking to him. But she approached him. Kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?"
Damn.
My. How illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. Why does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. It does not matter how much money they spend, how many people, those tickets ain't gonna sell. I wish you had the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdos. With his little orange purse. Screwing people's kids. Screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shame on you. You a dirty, old man. Period.
She said he never truly apologized to Cassie. Instead, he apologized to the public for seeing what he did. In the apology video, Diddy said he was disgusted with himself back then and now. But if that were true, Aubrey said, he wouldn't have previously denied everything and called Cassie dishonest. She made it clear that this wasn't about forgiveness or faith. Those ideas didn't apply to someone who had acted the way Diddy did. And everyone knew that. Aubrey didn't stop there. Rumors are now spreading that she's also targeting Beyonce, and this time she's not holding back. People have talked about Beyonce and Diddy for years, but no one expected Aubrey to mention it so openly. What's even more surprising is how MTV's Making the Band links these stories together. That show is where Diddy discovered Aubrey and her group, Danity Kane. It also featured another group called The Ban, who faced their own struggles. Their problems weren't directly caused by Diddy, but involved Beyoncé in some way. Freddie P., a member of The Ban, shared a surprising memory from their time on the show. Diddy once made the group walk all the way downtown just to get him a cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. At first, people assumed Diddy wanted the cheesecake for himself, but Freddie explained that it was actually Beyoncé who asked for it. She told Diddy to have the band walk and
I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release. I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
So that you just got recently for this thing?
I got it a few months ago when he started doing
what's
this.
In the news now?
So what's happening is artists, some of them, not all of them, are being given streaming royalties and ownership back over our publishing on songs that we wrote at a time when you know that you have to stream a song 1 million times to make a cent.
Yeah.
Okay? It's hundreds of dollars. And me as somebody that's a girl's girl, I hit everyone in my group and said, absolutely do not take this deal. I can get us a show on Hulu right now.
instead of using a car. No one is exactly sure where in New York this happened, but the walk took 4 hours. Imagine walking that long just to pick up a cheesecake. This incident was an early sign that Diddy's way of treating people was strange, but at the time, many didn't think much of it. Some said he was just being tough because the music industry is hard and only the strongest survive. However, in a recent interview, Freddie revealed the real reason for the long walk. It wasn't punishment from Diddy or something he enjoyed. Beyoncé wanted the cheesecake but didn't want anyone from her own team to get it. Instead, she had Diddy make the group walk for hours, likely to embarrass them on TV. Many were shocked when they heard that Beyoncé might have gone that far. Then, a video of the baby went viral where he talked about a private party at Diddy's house. During the party, Diddy cleared